Tonight's episode is brought to you by War Games. When you need to settle something, the only way to do it is War Games. Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed. Why is Max so thrilled about the end of Raw? Where does Jaybone get those wonderful toys? All this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
Warning. This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ramblers Unleashed. We are the Ramblers, and we have been unleashed on you, the viewing audience. Dizzy is on special assignment tonight, reviewing the footage of the Macho Elizabeth SummerSlam wedding. Baron is also on special assignment, but it's a secret, out-of-the-country assignment that we can't talk about.
Oh, like espionage kind of stuff?
Like if I told you I'd have to come up there and kill you, and then I'd have to come back to Denver, and that's a lot of work, so don't ask. All right.
I ain't saying nothing.
That's right. Let's introduce who we do have tonight. Up first, we have a man who has spent more hours studying TNA and Lucha Underground than any other wrestling fan in the history of pro wrestling. Give it up for Jaybone.
Hi. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Hey. How's it going tonight?
It's Tuesday night, man. What can I say?
All I can say is the Brewers just beat the Seattle Mariners 22-0.
Yeah, and for those of you watching this, and since you weren't in the backstage with us talking about this before the show, Seattle gave up. If you weren't watching the game, Seattle gave up. I mean, I think they knew it was over, and there was a point where they caught a pop fly in the outfield, and then instead of sending the ball in, they tossed it into the stands.
Which scored another, 3 runs.
Yeah. All right. Up next, the other member of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd just be a couple of idiots talking to each other on a video call. Give it up for yourselves over there in the chat. All right, guys. Later tonight, we will talk about one of the greatest factions of all time and the possible future for them.
Wait a second.
What?
What about you?
Oh, I'm Max Magius.
Well, you're special.
Yeah, that's what my parents said when they put me on the short bus.
And my wife calls me that too, but she throws other things in there. But nonetheless, let's give up a hand for the biggest heel in the house, Max Magius. All right.
Now, later tonight, we are going to talk about one of the greatest factions of all time and a possible future for them. Yes, I'm talking about Jaybone's favorite, the Spirit Squad. Stay tuned. All right, guys, real quick before we get into anything else, the main event for Sunday night's main event is set. And it's all thanks to Paul Heyman. In case you didn't see Raw last night, Braun Breaker called out Obafemi. Obafemi is not who came out right away. It was Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman told Braun that mistakes get made when you think with your ego, basically. And then Oba came out. Braun wanted to settle it right then and there, and Heyman said, no. This is a box office match. This is a main event match. We're not doing this, and I know I'm going to get some flack here in Buffalo, but we're not doing this here in Buffalo. He already had gone to Adam Pearce, arranged for the main event at Sunday night's main event to be Braun Breaker versus Obafemi. So that's one match down for Sunday night's main event, and I'm already excited for Sunday night's main event. Jaybone?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of stuff that happened on Raw last night that was just absolute, just gold. And the fact that it's a little unnerving, and I mean that in a good way. I'm sorry, my cat is on my desk, and he missed me. He missed me, so he's getting some love. Paul Heyman. It doesn't matter if he's with Roman. It doesn't matter if he's with CM Punk. It doesn't matter if he's with Seth Rollins. It doesn't matter who he's with. In this case, he's acting as, I don't know. He listed off like a bunch of different stuff last night. What did he say he's acting as now?
A wise man, basically.
Basically, okay.
Yeah, because he said he was the advocate, he was an oracle, but most importantly, he is a wise man.
Okay, so he's the wise guy that set up this match. And between, I mean, I get the drama that Braun Breaker's doing because he sees what's happening to his future. And look, his future is bright. For anyone out there that's actually worried about his future, don't worry about his future. His future is going to be just fine. Excuse me. What they're making here with Obafemi is gold, because for I think a lot of people assumed, including myself, that Obafemi was just going to get thrown at one of the world champions, whether it be the WWE champion or the Raw World Heavyweight Champion. And it's like, okay, that's a given a win right there, but they're taking their time with this, and they're putting Braun Breaker in the mix now, and they've got time for this whole championship match. Whenever it's going to happen, they got time for that to simmer. So what they're doing now was Solo and, putting a big, mysterious cloud of mystery above his head. Like, well, what about me? I'm Braun Breaker and blah, 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 blah. And what about us? And it's almost like, Raven in a sense, going, hey, what about me? What about Raven? It's because Raven's one of my favorite classics from back in the day. So I appreciate all this.
Just for the record, you said, and what they're doing with Solo. I know that Solo is a big topic on tonight's episode, but this was about Braun Breaker and Obafemi.
Oh, I meant Oba and Braun Breaker. I'm sorry. I'm reading what's.
I know what you're doing.
So, okay.
I know what you're doing. I was just letting you know what happened.
Yeah, it's my brain partially leaked out of my head after a long day of work, so my bad.
And let me be clear about something, because I think Braun Breaker's biggest gripe about this is he's supposed to be the future of pro wrestling. And Brock Lesnar endorsed Obafemi as the future. Listen, Ron, let me be clear. There doesn't need to be only one. This isn't Highlander. This is pro wrestling. You need a group of people to be the future.
Right.
Because if you try to rest the entire business on one person's shoulders, he's going to retire and start doing commercials, which drive me up the wall every time I'm trying to watch Raw. And there's John Cena's face in the commercial.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I mean, look at here's a perfect example of this. Look at 2012. Now, granted, Dean Ambrose went on to other things. Jon Moxley, he's in AEW. But look at when the Shield came. It's right. I'm just saying, look at what happened to the Shield. Roman shot to the moon. Seth Rollins shot to the moon. Moxley still on top of whatever he wants to do in AEW, whether it's world champion stuff or holding another title, he's still at the top of his game. And these guys are on the top of the industry now. But
yeah,
it's over 10 years later. These guys are banged up. And I'm not saying they're out the pasture by any means. Seth Rollins, if anything, is a little more banged up than the other two. But you still gotta look to the future. You still gotta bring up these. I always use the term young bucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
The next generation, this next crop of people.
Yep.
And Braun Breaker is absolutely a part of it. But I love the drama that they're placing here. You know, because it's like they're almost taking like a fan-based argument and throwing it in a wrestling scenario. Like, Oba's better than Braun Breaker. Oh, hell no, man. Braun Breaker's a 10-time better wrestler than Oba. You know, you picture these idiots on the couch drinking beer, eating Cheetos, arguing about Braun Breaker and Oba Fett. And we're watching this play out. And now Paul Heyman's in the mix, and it's just a beautiful mess. And I can't wait for it to go down, man.
I think the best part of that was he made Braun feel like he was on Braun's side. And then what did he do? He shook Oba's hand on the way out of the ring, and that look on Braun's face.
Oh, yeah. It's like, you son of a... Like, what are you setting me up for something? What the hell's going on? And
right.
I said to Tracy, my wife, I said, do you think Heyman's going to go with Oba? She's like, I don't know.
I think it's a possibility. Listen,
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because I want to see him stick around, and he's got options.
He's clearly not technically part of the Vision anymore, not the way he's been treating them.
Right.
So what's he going to do? And I think Oba's a great option for him. We'll see how that works.
I still want him to be at the side of Jordan Grace. I know I'm probably one of 3 people that still want that, but I'm a Jordan Grace card-carrying member, yes.
I'm a huge Jordan Grace fan. I love Jordan Grace, but she needs a mouthpiece. I'm sorry. She does.
Well, she needs to be on TV, first of all.
Yes, that too. But she's not terrible on a microphone.
Oh, she got through many years of TNA, and she was fine. It's just...
But I think she needs a mouthpiece. I'm sorry. I just think that she needs someone to do the talking for her.
It couldn't hurt her.
Yeah, we are going to talk more about people that I think are part of the future of wrestling. And how does that relate to the Shield? You'll find out soon. And new tag team champions. This story comes to us from Fightful Select. The MFTs win WWE Tag Team Championship on August 14th, WWE SmackDown. On 8/14, WWE SmackDown, Damian Priest, R-Truth defended the WWE Tag titles against the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, and the MFTs, Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga, because he's the Tala Tonga. The ending of this bout saw the MFTs hit the Brothers Keeper on R-Truth for the victory. They are the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Truth and Priest's reign lasted 148 days after winning the titles back in March. Now, part of the reason I'm bringing this up is not only are the MFTs now basically the only 2 remaining members, because I feel like Solo's not really part of the MFTs anymore or leading them or anything.
Right.
Especially
they abandoned him. Yeah.
Especially with what I'm going to bring up here in just a second. So the only 2 members of the MFTs are tag team champions, which is shocking considering how the WWE treated the MFTs all this time up until now. And number 2, clearly he's not with them because now they have a manager. And it looks like he's sticking around. Haku is by their side. And if you don't know who Haku is, you are on the wrong show. Because around here, you need to respect your wrestling forefathers. And Haku is one of the biggest legends in the business.
Yeah. I mean, one of my first memories of Haku, because, I mean, when it gets back to the 80s stuff, it gets pretty blurry. I know Hogan did great. Macho Man was great. And I remember other things like Andre and the $1 Million Man rivalry, and all sorts. I remember things, the 2 Hebners, things like that.
Earl and Dave.
Yeah, that was man. I remember watching that live as a kid, and I was losing my mind. I'm like, what the?
That was twin magic before the Bellas ever came along.
Yeah, that was exactly. Oh, we're talking about Haku. My first memory of Haku, and please, I don't remember what year this was, but Haku had a rivalry with, I believe it was Harley Race. And it had to do with like who was king. And I think it revolved around King of the Ring. Don't get me, I think, but like I said, it's all real blurry. But I remember the two being like king and Heenan being involved in it. And then, but
Heenan was involved in everything back in the day.
He was because he had he had Hennig, Kurt Hennig, he had Andre, he had Big John Studd, he had King Kong Bundy. I mean, the Heenan family was one of the greatest stables in the world of professional wrestling in this, well, of that generation at least. I mean, he just had all the monsters, man. It was crazy.
The list of people that were part of the Heenan family is long and distinguished, kind of like my Johnson. Let's just go with WWE, not AWA. Let's talk about the AWA names because there's a couple of good ones here too. Nick Bockwinkel, Ray Stevens, Blackjack Lanza, Blackjack Mulligan, Bobby Duncombe Sr. I mean, these guys were managed by him in AWA. Then we get to the WWE, and at one time or another, WWF then, he managed Andre, Ric Flair, Ravishing Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard as the Brainbusters, Haku and Tama as the Islanders, Haku and Andre as the Colossal Connection, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Ken Patera, Hercules, not Dwayne Johnson Hercules, but the pro wrestler from the 80s Hercules.
Hercules. No, not that one.
Yeah, not that one either. The Red Rooster, Terry Taylor. The Brooklyn Brawler, of all people. Adorable Adrian Adonis and the Masked Superstar.
Oh, Adrian Adonis, man. Crazy. Man, that is a hell of a list. But yeah. And I love the fact because, not a lot has come up about Haku lately, but within the last week, I believe it was approximately a week ago on the YouTube channel, and I'm guessing on their socials, they came out with this video about, it was just a brief history of why Haku is one of the most feared wrestlers in the industry still to this day. And you were talking briefly about, oh yeah, now the MFTs are tag team champions. And I was simply going to say, dude, they're tag team champions because Haku showed up and then, oh, what are we doing with the MFTs? We're going to make them tag team champions. Yeah. We're going to make them when? How's next week sound? Can you come next week and we'll make them tag team champions? This is how the conversation went. They're stuttering. They're stammering. Triple H is sweating. He peed himself 3 times during the conversation. Haku shows up. Shit gets done.
All right, real quick, I have to address this. First off, Heenan managing all of them, not Hennig. Hennig was part of the group, but it is a better version of Don Callis' family. It was the Heenan family, and now you have Don Callis' family. The Heenan family is far superior.
Oh, Don Callis it's just a hot mess. I couldn't even tell you who's in the Don Callis family. I respect Don Callis. He's done a lot in the industry. I even met him once. He wouldn't shake my hand because he's a germaphobe, but, I still got a picture with him.
Yeah, I've heard good things. All right.
We continue. But yeah.
let's talk about the future. We talked about the past. Haku, who is a great legend, and I'm so happy that he's doing something. And by the way, I think it's great that the guy that used the finisher of the Tongan Death Grip is now back in the WWE, and the guy currently using the Tongan Death Grip is on the other show. Just a thing. All right, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about how this relates to the Shield. If you were to try to recreate the magic of the Shield, but with women, who would you choose?
Are you talking about 2012 or like right now?
If we're recreating it now, but we're making it a women's faction, who do you choose?
That's a good question, dude. Oh man.
All right, here, let me read you this article, okay? From
Go ahead.
Ringside News, JC Jane embraces Fatal Attraction being called WWE's female Shield. JC Jane has no problem with fans comparing Fatal Attraction to one of WWE's most dominant factions ever. The WWE Women's United States Champion revealed that the group has been called the Female Shield, and she's more than happy to accept the comparison. During her appearance on Not Sam Wrestling Live, Sam Roberts pointed out how Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed have quickly established themselves on SmackDown, with all three women holding gold. Jane said fans have started drawing comparisons between Fatal Attraction and the Shield. People are calling us the Female Shield, which I'll take that.
I have not heard that. I'm sorry, continue.
I hadn't either, but, I think it's an interesting thought.
It is.
Jane made it clear that the group didn't arrive on the main roster just to fill space. She said Fatal Attraction had a plan from the beginning to take over and establish themselves as the next generation of WWE's women's division. That's how this story is about the future of pro wrestling.
Right.
Honestly, we came in with a plan. We were like, we're coming. We're going to make an impact. We're taking over. It's the next generation. She then sent a warning to the rest of the SmackDown women's locker room, saying anyone who can't keep up with Fatal Attraction shouldn't expect to be holding championship gold anytime soon. She said sorry to the other girls in the locker room, but if you can't outdo us, then it is what it is. You're not going to have any gold. We're going to be on top, and we plan to be on top for a very long time, so get used to it. Roberts followed up by noting that the Shield worked because Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose had chemistry in addition to their aggressive attitude. Jane said her connection with Henley has been building for around a decade, while Reed entered the group with something to prove. She said, me and Fallon have known each other for like 10 years, so I think that chemistry has just been built up over time. Lainey came in, and she's a beast. She had a point to prove, and she's definitely stepped up to the plate. Jane also said the three women support each other while still competing with one another behind the scenes, which she believes forces each member to stay sharp. I think the thing that keeps us so strong is we're all supportive of each other, but at the same time, we're all very competitive. We want to outdo everybody else, but I think in a weird way, we're also trying to one-up the other. So it just makes all of us stay on top of our game at all times, and it's working. Clearly, it's working. Fatal Attraction still has a long way to go before matching what the Shield accomplished in WWE, but Jane clearly isn't intimidated by the comparison. As far as she's concerned, the group came to SmackDown to take over, collect championships, and stay on top. So, first off, I just want to say I can see it. They're dominant. They're aggressive. There is a chemistry there, as was pointed out by Sam Roberts.
And they're very talented. They really are. I mean, if I was impressed with JC Jane, and when I first really started watching her was when they made her TNA Women's Champion. And people hated it, but I appreciated it. And then they've made a couple other ladies from NXT, TNA Knockouts champion, but man, Lainey Reed, I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but she's still very new to the group in a sense. But I've been I'll tell you what, I've been a fan of JC Jane and Fallon Henley. I watched her in that match it was either a week or 2 ago when it was like it was either a tag team or it was a 3-on-3, and I saw Fallon Henley do a drop kick that I was like blown away by. And usually stuff like that is just kind of like whatever, it's a drop kick. And I was like, damn, like, took her head off. It's yeah, I get it. I mean, I would still pick others to do it just because I'm, I like who I like, and I'd like to see them get pushed to a certain degree. Like, we were just talking about, Jordan Grace, but I would take someone like, honestly, I'd take like Charlotte, Jordan Grace, and then someone new, up and coming, say.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. Before you say that, let me make a quick point.
Okay.
Charlotte would obviously be the Roman Reigns of the group because she's got the size and the physical strength. Jordan does have physical strength, but I see her more as the Seth Rollins of the group. So that leaves the Dean Ambrose, the Moxley position open. And I can think of 2 names that I think would be great for that are currently on the roster. I don't know what one of them is doing, but I know the other one's been fairly active. Alexa Bliss, because when she's in her full form, she has that psycho mentality. And the other one would be Julia.
I was actually thinking Lyra Valkyria because she's got this demented sense of whatever, which I think because you were talking about who is who, that I feel like that almost in a sense fits more Moxley, but that's me. It's all subjective. I think it's a very interesting topic. But yeah, I mean, I love what Fatal Influence is doing. I'm not surprised that they're getting pushed to the moon. I think it's great because it's I've always said this. I love a good shake-up. When you bring someone in, you shake things up. I was just watching clips of NXT before we went live, and I had to laugh a little bit. I love Zilla Fatu. I love the fact that he finally got brought into NXT at the time is right. His parole's done. They could finally do whatever they want to do with him in the company. I'm excited about it. He signed his contract, and Robert Stone added him to the main event of the next, what is that, Heat Wave, the next big show that they're putting on within the next few weeks, whatever it is. The crowd started chanting at Zilla Fatu, "You deserve it." I'm like, okay, I love Zilla Fatu, but don't start chanting, "You deserve it." He literally walked in the door, knocked out a few people. He signed his contract. He hasn't done anything yet. Don't start chanting, "You deserve it." I mean, what is this Florida crowd smoking? Holy cow. I mean, did they legalize stuff down there that I'm not aware of? I'm just...
No, but it is Heat Wave. And it's a double event with back-to-back with Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide's Ola de Cayor. And it's so Heat Wave is airing at 3 Eastern, 1 o'clock in the only time zone that matters, mine. And then AAA will be on after that. I was going to tell you guys, I got to be way more careful about talking about one of my favorite wrestlers. For those of you out there that don't know, I have an Echo. It sits right here next to my desk. So I mentioned who I thought could be the 3rd member of the Women's Shield because of the fact that she's got the crazy gimmick going on. And my Echo goes, was that for me? No, that was not for you.
That's funny.
All right. Let's talk about something that you should never, ever do. From Ringside News, Tiffany Stratton caught in SWAT prank during a live stream with Neon. Now, before I read this story, let me be clear about something. I do not endorse this prank. This prank is stupid. This prank could get people killed. If that was your goal, Please go turn yourself in, remove yourself from society, because I'm sorry. This was stupid. I don't care what you think of Tiffany. I don't care what you think of Neon. None of that is important. Never, ever do this to anybody. Tiffany Stratton's Saturday morning training session with kick streamer Neon got a hell of an interruption when Los Angeles police suddenly showed up at the gym over what Neon said was another bogus SWAT call. Stratton and Neon were training inside Arsenal Boxing when police vehicles pulled up outside and officers appeared at the glass doors. Neon immediately seemed to know what was happening, telling Stratton that somebody had apparently called in a fake emergency while watching the live stream. She said it's just a prank SWAT call. Stratton looked completely thrown by the situation and questioned why somebody would call the cops on her. Neon explained that she wasn't actually the target. Whoever made the call was going after his stream and using their live location to send police there. For Neon, this was apparently nothing new. He told Stratton he's been hit with the same stunt dozens of times while streaming in Los Angeles.
And where were they?
An Arsenal Gym in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Arsenal Gym? Arsenal Boxing.
Okay.
He said, nah, this has happened to me in this city probably like 50 times. Neon explained that callers can use voice changers and make serious claims about whatever location he happens to be streaming from, forcing police to respond. The officers eventually asked for the cameras to be shut off while they dealt with the situation. They said, turn off your cameras. No arrests were shown in the footage circulating online, and the live stream eventually continued after the police interruption. Stratton went into the gym expecting a workout and instead got a front row look at one of the nastier problems that come with IRL streaming. The entire thing could have turned much uglier considering police were responding to what they believed could have been a real emergency. Instead, the situation ended without anyone being taken away, and Stratton's very strange training session was able to continue. Again, do not SWAT people. It is stupid. It's not a funny prank. I know you think it's some kind of big joke. It's not. Don't do it.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that could have went sideways really bad. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, can you imagine if Neon hadn't had the presence of mind to go calmly open the door, and what if he had said, hey, what are you guys doing here? Why are you guys doing this?
Right, yeah. Instead of...
I think that's the goal.
You don't want to escalate the situation.
Right. And I think that's the goal of whoever keeps swatting Neon. I think that they're intending for Neon to have a bad reaction and for the SWAT team to start shooting. And if that's the case, stop. Please.
Jeez,
okay, that's ridiculous that this is happening still. I've been hearing about swatting pranks for years, and they need to stop.
I've never heard of that before. That's horrible. Jeez Louise.
Yeah,
I mean, I always joke, we have our, windows open during the summer, and we always hear sirens around here. Not that this is like a bad area, but there's a nursing home down the block where the ambulance gets called to several times during the week, sadly. But every time we hear the sirens, I say to my wife, I'm like, I didn't do it. She goes, bullshit. And I'm like, you can't prove it. She goes, they're here. So we joke about that. But yeah, it's like, geez Louise. To call someone.
If I'm in one of my stores and we hear sirens, I'll turn to whatever manager is closest and be like, what did you do?
The other thing I do is like the classic Bugs Bunny cartoon. I go, hide me. My wife goes, nope.
Right? All right, guys. In news that should come as no surprise, but is terrible to hear, our next story comes from Ringside News. Janelle Grant has been hospitalized with concussion, broken ribs, and lung hemorrhage. Janelle Grant says a fall inside her home left her badly injured, alone, and unable to remember what happened for days. Grant, whose 2024 lawsuit against Vince McMahon preceded his resignation from WWE, revealed via Instagram Monday that she suffered a concussion, broken ribs, and a lung hemorrhage after crashing into a wooden bed frame and wall unit sometime around the end of July or beginning of August. Grant said she remembers tripping while walking back to bed, but almost everything after that is gone. She blacked out. continued falling in the days that followed and had no idea how badly she had hurt herself until people around her realized something was wrong and got her to a hospital. She said, it was on my walk back to bed that I tripped and fell into a wooden bed frame / wall unit with floating cabinets. I blacked out. I think it happened at the end of July or start of August. I have no memory of the days that followed. I didn't know I hit my head or that I kept falling. I have no memory from those days of blood trails, bruising, busted body parts, and becoming an unrecognizable version of myself. Her next clear memory was being driven to the hospital days later. That's when she learned the full extent of the damage. Grant said the hospital intake process hit her just as hard emotionally. When she was asked about a spouse, family, employer, insurance, and an emergency contact, she said she had none of them. She said, my next memory is days later. I was being driven to the hospital out of concern about my well-being. I had a concussion, broken ribs, and a lung hemorrhage. I remember crying during the information intake. Married, family, employer, insurance, emergency contact. I didn't have any of these. She tied the accident to what she described as years of physical and emotional decline since June of 2022, saying nearly every part of her life has been affected. She said, every area of my life has been impacted down to my skin and bones, holding a job, support system, safety, mental health, physical strength, finances, and stability, and everything. The hospital itself brought another wave of emotion. Grant said it was the same place where her father died and the same hospital where she once volunteered before eventually working for WWE. But Grant said the accident also showed her something she hadn't felt in a long time. People who weren't even physically there since she was in trouble started making calls and got her help when she wasn't in a condition to do it herself. She said, here's the irony. Despite everything in my life breaking, I've never felt more alive. I've also never believed more in the power of humanity to rally around someone in need. She believes the outcome could have been much worse if this had happened a year or two earlier. When she says there was barely anyone consistently checking on her, Grant finished by thanking the people who stepped in, saying they acted when she didn't even realize how much help she needed. If this happened last year or the year before, she said, I can't think of one person with enough consistent presence in my life who would have detected that I was injured and needed to go to the hospital. Because I have hindsight from years of lived experience, I appreciate how much worse this could have been. They made calls, castanet, did things I can't remember because I was concussed. How they treated me in that moment when I needed help but didn't know it reflected what's in their hearts, compassion, patience, and human kindness. Thank you. Grant's account paints a scary picture of just how serious the fall became before she finally got medical attention. She says the lost days of memory, suffered multiple injuries, and could have. She said she lost days of memory, suffered multiple injuries, and could have been in far worse shape if the people around her hadn't recognized the warning signs. So I'm going to be honest with you here. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I'm sorry. I know that I shouldn't say that, but look, I've been around a long time, and I know that some people that have crossed, I'm not going to name the name, but a certain family in the past have disappeared in spectacular fashion. Let's go with that. Do I believe this was an accident? I can't prove anything, but no, I don't. I believe something happened there. But what can I prove? You know, I just have I have my gut feeling on this. What do you think?
I know that she probably, I mean, I have no idea what her like mental state has been during the course of all this trial with Vince, the WWE, and whoever else all been involved. I'm not sure it's not just Vince, it's other people too. And I'm sure to some degree, stress has been a part of this for her, I'm sure. And I know stress can be a killer. So that was honestly my first thought is I had heard recently that the trial was over and that they were going to go into private, I don't know what word
arbitration, I think.
Yeah, arbitration meetings, whatever it's the term is. Yeah. However it was going to be done behind closed doors. And I'm sure I'm sure she's stressed. Stress can do a number of things to you physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. So, I have no clue what could have really done this, but that's my first guess is that stress did this, or I really don't want to make fun of the situation. I was going to say she's just a klutz, but that I could say myself, I'm a klutz. So, but I don't know. It's I don't know enough about her to really give it's this or it's this. This is just kind of out of nowhere after all that stuff.
Like I said, I'm not saying that it went the way that I'm suggesting it might have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying my gut says that there's a very good possibility that it did. So, all right, guys. You've seen the graphic. You've heard Grandpa accidentally refer to the graphic while talking about Braun Breaker. So how about we get into that real quick? Let's go to the Desk of Max Magius. Our next story that I have here is actually going to come to us from Fightful. Solo Sikoa reacts to attacking the Bloodline on Raw. Psych! Solo Sikoa reacts to attacking the Bloodline on this week's edition of WWE Monday Night Raw, which ended in chaos. On this August 17th edition of Monday Night Raw, Solo would feature as part of the main event segment of the show, where Jey Uso would deliver him to Roman Reigns. In the process of the segment, Solo would act like he was going to submit to Reigns and rejoin the Bloodline, but would pull a fast one on his family, spiking Reigns and standing tall with LA Knight, while Jacob Fatu stood by as the attack took place. Now Sikoa has reacted to the segment. In a new Instagram story posted on Tuesday morning, Solo Sikoa would react to the main event segment on the August 17th edition and pulling a fast one on his family by posting psych, #Dolo. If you didn't watch it, you should load up Netflix, check it out now. It was great footage. It really was. And right before he spiked Roman, he was looking right at LA Knight. I'm sorry. And then he spiked Roman. Down Roman went. So let's get this out of the way first. Solo agreed to be presented to the OTC if Jey won, and he kept his word. And that's on Jey for not putting into the verbiage that you're rejoining the Bloodline. Because that's not what Solo agreed to. He agreed to be presented to Roman Reigns, and he was.
Right. Put a bow on him.
It was cool to see LA Knight come save him, since Solo has had his back several times against the Bloodline. And when I finish what I want to talk about here, Jaybone can circle back to the Solo Knight part of this if he wants. But I want to talk about how well Fatu follows instructions. Roman told him to stay out of it for now, and he did. Roman put him in the corner and said, don't do anything for right now. Just stand back. Fatu took that seriously, and he followed the instructions of the OTC.
Right.
Even when LA Knight and Solo got the upper hand against the Usos and Roman, Fatu stayed back and followed the orders he was given. Yep. I know he didn't really want to join to begin with, and he did look kind of upset that the Usos got their own little accessories last night on Raw.
Yes.
But like a good soldier, he did exactly what he was told, which I won't lie, shocked me a little. A man as unpredictable as Jacob Fatu, standing back and doing as he was instructed, damn. Now, Eric Bischoff, who is a sad sack and should have stuck to his word, says that it's the same shit over and over with the Bloodline. And to you, I say, if you don't, no one is making you continue watching and commenting. You wanted to stop, now stop. Jacob Fatu has added an interesting change up to the Bloodline, in my opinion. I look forward to what happens next. Will Fatu be in War Games?
Did I lose you? There we go.
Yeah, well, what happened?
I must have lost connection for a second.
Oh, so I'll finish that last sentence again.
Okay.
But right now, the feral Samoan has me on the edge of my seat. Jaybone?
Oh, yeah. This was absolute gold. I loved this. it was a little predictable because what happened is what I wanted to happen. With the exception, I was surprised by what Fatu did. I wasn't surprised that he tried to jump in and attack him, but he's like you said, he's trying to be a good soldier. And and in his reaction, because he was supposed to be the original one that brought Solo back, he couldn't do it. So Jay won in the match, and then him, and I laughed throughout the whole episode of Jay and Jimmy just absolute clowning, dancing around. Look what we did. Look what we did. High five. Oh, yeah, we got it done. Look at us. Look what time it is. Oh, it's time for Solo to get in the ring with Rome. You know, it's just, I was laughing so hard. I'm like, these guys are ridiculous. And they're so happy. And they got their own little Umafala. I don't know what it is. Yeah, they got their own Umafalas, and they're the captains now. And Fatu's like, F this dude, man. What's up, man? I'm doing my best. You know, so he tries to be a good soldier and weaken Solo, and Reigns is like, no, let me take care of this. I'm gonna deal with this. He's like, you just stand back. I got this. Oh yeah, you got this. All right. And yeah, the whole segment was gold. I loved it. I can't wait to see how this unfolds next week with Roman or Jay and Jimmy dealing with Fatu. I see Fatu on his way out. And originally when he joined, I'm like, Fatu's going to tear apart this group from the inside out. And that's kind of happening, but there's more factors to it. Solo is the big factor here. And for a while, I didn't see that as the factor, but he's been doing his own thing, you know, and now it's like, it's very visible as to what's happening. And it's all giving clearance as to eventually LA Knight's going to get his shot. And I'm hoping he's the one that dethrones Reigns. It's like, it's got to happen now or never, or sooner than later, I should say.
And I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to see Fatu leave the Bloodline before War Games. Maybe during War Games, probably after, but not before. Because I think, as I pointed out, I am pretty sure that he is going to play a big factor in War Games on the side of the Bloodline.
Because then, you know, you got to look at who's going to join LA Knight and Solo in this.
Well, first, I think Royce Isaacs comes back in time to be on the team.
Oh, that's true.
And then all you need is 2 more for that side. You still need 1 more for the Bloodline. And I stand by what I said before. I truly think Sammy is going to be your 1 more for the Bloodline. But then you need 2 to join the anti-Bloodline side, because Royce will probably be back in time. If I had to guess, this is probably a storyline injury anyway, so they can bring him back whenever they feel like it.
Yeah.
So, but then you need 2 more. Who do you go with? And I know I said before Enzo and Cass, because it feels like disorganized chaos already with LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys. These guys are not, in my opinion, what you would expect to see as a group. I think we're seeing disorganized chaos as the anti-Bloodline side. That's why I think Enzo and Cass would fit in. Yeah. Because they don't seem like they belong with this team. But
it's kind of like it's kind of like a team. The whole Solo LA Knight thing feels kind of like a team of misfits. You know, it's anti-Bloodline, and then granted, Solo is part of the blood. He is blood, but he's not with Roman. Right. So
and who are the two biggest misfits of all time in WWE? Enzo and Big Cass. Come on. But that being said, the way that they're having Cass feud with your boy Bouncy right now, I don't think that they're going that way, especially since Enzo We really have no idea what's going on with Enzo. So
no, which is interesting. Everything's quiet on the Enzo front, you know.
So I'm going to go with probably Seth Rollins, and then we need one more.
Oh, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, Joe Henry's feasible, but you really haven't seen anything about him going up against the Bloodline in any way. So why would you put him in there? Someone else that has Oh. So there's two other names who just returned. And I mean just returned. And they both have beef with the Bloodline. They do have beef with Cody. And and one of them currently has beef with CM Punk. So those two could be feasible for that 4th and 5th spot. And of course, I am referring to Mr. Voices in the Head, and I am referring to KO.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, if Sammy joins the Bloodline for War Games, I could see KO volunteering to join the opposing side.
Hey, for shits and giggles, yeah. And he has a lot of history with the Reigns, you know, and it goes back a few. I mean, it goes back to some of the best stuff they did was during and I hate this word, but the pandemic, you know, when they were doing stuff in the stadium and all over the place, and it was for the title. And I'm still pissed that KO didn't win. Hey, what's up, Terrence Sullivan in the chat? What's up, man? How you doing?
All right, guys. We all want to know when Jericho will return to the WWE. Well, the man himself has something to say about choosing AEW over WWE all those years ago. From Ringside News, Chris Jericho explains why he chose AEW over returning to WWE. Jericho had options when it came time to figure out his wrestling future, including a possible WWE return, but when the decision finally had to be made, AEW had something WWE couldn't match. Jericho helped build the place from the ground up. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Jericho was directly asked what pushed him towards staying with AEW instead of going back to WWE or taking a more limited wrestling schedule elsewhere. Jericho said his time away from television gave him room to work on outside projects and made him realize there was no reason to rush back into the ring. He said, we filmed for that, so I had those projects going on, and then it was kind of like there's a lot of stuff happening. So then when you get away for a bit, you're like, well, what's the rush? But then when it's time to kind of start thinking about coming back, obviously weigh your options, and there are a lot of factors. Jericho started seriously looking at those options. He said one thing separated AEW from everything else. He has a personal stake in what the company became. He said, but the bottom line is this, and this was the one that really clinched it for me. I've got skin in the game in AEW. I helped start AEW. And in a lot of ways, if there was no Chris Jericho, there might not have been an AEW. And there certainly wasn't one before me. There was a WWE before Jericho. There was a New Japan before. There was a CMLL before. And there will be an AEW after I leave, obviously. Jericho also revealed that he and Tony Khan had a few things to sort out before he committed to staying, though he made it clear those conversations weren't some major battle. He said, I can't wait to see how much bigger the company gets over the next 10 years. But when it came down to it, it was like, I like working for Tony. We had to work some things out, which we did. It wasn't hard to do. Jericho then traced his connection to AEW back in 2018 when he left WWE and faced Kenny Omega at the Tokyo Dome. In Jericho's mind, that match helped open the door for everything that came afterward. I'm proud of the fact that, 2018, I left WWE and went to the Tokyo Dome, and Kenny and I had that match that changed wrestling history. And that's the truth. That's factual. Jericho said joining AEW at the beginning was a massive gamble, and he even called Omega before the company's first press conference to make sure he was actually coming aboard. That risk is exactly why Jericho feels more attached to AEW now than he would simply returning to a company that already existed long before he got there. He said, I remember like it was such a huge risk to go, what's going to happen? And I remember thinking, I don't know, but if it works, then this is like what, a feather in the legacy cap of Jericho? And what a huge thing for the business and for the guys and the girls and the fans and everyone in between. Jericho finally summed up the WWE versus AEW decision without taking a shot at his former company. He said he still has love for his time in WWE, but AEW is something he feels he actually helped create. He said, I loved working in WWE when I was there, but I love what we created in AEW. And when it comes down to it, I kind of wanted to continue to see how far we can go with this company. And we've already gone farther than the most predicted. That's a really big, important time for the company right now, and I kind of wanted to just be involved with it. Jericho didn't frame the decision as WWE losing and AEW winning some bidding war. For him, it came down to history, and he took the risk when AEW was nothing more than an idea, helped turn it into a national promotion, and now wants to see how far the company can go before his career finally comes to an end. That's all well and good, but you are going to go back and retire in WWE, right? Because that's kind of what I really want to have happen, right? Please? Yeah? And those are good points. They are. Yeah. I think he makes some amazing points there.
Yeah.
I still want to see him go retire from WWE, though.
I think he will someday. I think he's number one, he's in phenomenal shape. He's the fact that he can, still recreate himself, still, do what he does in the ring, is I think it's great, and yeah, he should have that pride about doing stuff in AEW and helping kick that off. How many wrestlers have had his situation where he started out in, say, Mexico, ECW? Or wait, he was in the ECW, right? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Possibly. Hang on.
I know he's been in a bunch of different companies.
Let's see here. He did have a brief but memorable run in Extreme Championship Wrestling in 1996. During his time with the promotion, he wrestled top stars like RVD, Taz, Sabu, and Cactus Jack, and he won the ECW World Television Championship in June 1996 before leaving for World Championship Wrestling.
Okay. Yeah, and he did significant stuff in WCW, and then when things went haywire with whatever he wanted to do, then he went with the WWF, and he's had a legendary legacy, and I'll go back to what I was saying, dude. How many people his age have the opportunity to start something brand new like that and have a hand in forming it, creating it, shaping it. That's pretty cool. I
agreed.
I tip my hat to guys like, and Cody was there too. I gotta give it to Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny, and Mox for being part of that, and so many others.
Hangman.
Yeah, thank you, Hangman. I knew I was forgetting a few names, but yeah, Hangman too. Hangman's still around.
If there's one name you better not forget, it is Cowboy Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Hangman Page, you got to remember him.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all had a piece of it, and Jericho signing was the biggest. And I'll give it to Tony for signing him. I mean, he can have that that satisfaction of, hey, look who I got to be a part of this. He can pat himself on the back for that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, don't forget, we're still going to talk about one of the greatest factions of all time. We're working our way to that. Stick around. I think it's going to be a fun little chat. Up next, though, if I have said it once, I have said it a million times. But this time, I'm going to say it directly towards her instead of directed at AEW. Yes, Britt, you should. And that'll make more sense when I read you this article, just for the record. Okay. From Ringside News, Britt Baker addresses wrestling future after nearly 2 years away. Britt Baker has been out of the ring for nearly 2 years, and she still isn't giving fans much to work with when it comes to a possible comeback. A fan asked Baker directly in the comments of one of her Instagram posts if she was ever going to wrestle again. Instead of giving a yes or no answer, Baker tossed the question right back. She said, I don't know. Should I? Again, yes, Britt Baker, you should. Wrestling needs you. AEW really needs you, but I'd be happy to see you anywhere right about now.
I think wrestling in general needs her. I think
That's
she's way too talented. I mean,
Yeah,
if she decides to, like, I don't know what her contract situation is. I'm not going to pretend to know it.
we'll get to that.
If she has the opportunity to do something with AEW, I'd love to see it. If she has the opportunity to go somewhere like WWE or TNA or wherever, I don't care. I just want to see her because she is talented.
Exactly. And we'll get to the contract thing. But I'm saying, and I started that by saying, and in general, wrestling needs you. AEW really needs you, because otherwise, what are they relying on right now? She who shall not be named. Baker hasn't wrestled since 2024 and was last seen on AEW television in November of that year. Her name has continued to come up for possible creative ideas, but nothing has turned into an actual return. Sean Ross Sapp recently addressed Baker's status and said he hasn't heard anything suggesting AEW is preparing to bring her back anytime soon. He said, I've heard nothing at all to indicate that she would be popping up anytime soon. Her name is brought up here and there for an idea, but I've never really heard that it's gotten very far, and I don't know why. Baker was also discussed for Willow Nightingale's comeback killer storyline, but that idea never went anywhere. Sapp added that AEW simply hasn't had solid plans for Baker for a long time. He said they just haven't had any real solid plans to use her for 2 years. There's also the question of Baker's contract. She signed a 5-year AEW deal in 2021, but AEW could potentially add injury time because of how long she's been sidelined. For now, Baker remains off television with no clear return date, and judging by her response to the fan, she isn't exactly rushing to tell anyone that a comeback is around the corner. So, as I said, yes, you should come back to wrestling, Britt. It would be a travesty if you didn't.
Yeah, I know that her former sidekick in what she was doing years ago, Rebel. We hear a lot about her, the ALS and all that stuff, and man, it was really fun to see Rebel at her side. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, but that whole thing when Britt Baker was injured, and I don't remember what. Something with her leg, her knee, something. I don't remember what it was, but she was in a wheelchair, and the comedy segments that happened, I always gave Britt Baker and Rebel a ton of credit, especially Britt Baker. The fact that she was injured and still on TV when how many people are injured and sent home. She was on TV every week during the pandemic or whatever year it was, I forget. And she was knocking it out of the park and having these segments, and Rebel was by her side. And she was kind of like the clown of this segment. She was the one that, some people would laugh at. But when I had the opportunity a short time later to meet Rebel in Waukesha for Blizzard Brawl, I told her, I said, I give you a lot of credit, and I don't think enough people give you that credit for being the sidekick, or however you want to define it, person, that, character that you were to Britt Baker throughout all those segments. I said it was gold, and I just want to tell you to your face, you are absolutely appreciated, and this fan loved it. And I got a chance to take a picture with. I'm getting a little emotional because I know that we're not going to have her around much longer, and it's tragic and it's sad, and I'm glad that people are giving her flowers now. However you want to do it, through ALS or however, talking on social media. Give her flowers before she passes on to wherever she's going in the afterlife. But yeah, back to Britt Baker. She, the stuff she did back then was gold, and I'd love to see it again in this whole new crop of ladies that are in the company, which I'm sorry, I can't even say half the people that are in the company now because I haven't watched on a regular basis. Willow, I heard, is knocking it out of the park. Mercedes Moné is doing well. Have we even seen a Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker? I don't know.
I'm rooting to never see that.
I don't think we've seen it yet. I would love to see that. I'm just saying, there's options.
But Grandpa, you got problems. We already knew that.
Why? What? I didn't say Sasha Banks. I gave her proper name.
No. First off, she is who shall not be named.
Oh,
and
sorry.
You keep naming her.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Our next story is about a very polarizing person.
Oh boy.
I was surprised when they brought her back, and yet I was also surprised when they let her go. Our next story comes to us from Ringside News. Tessa Blanchard's potential destination after her TNA exit has been revealed. Tessa Blanchard may have found her next landing spot after her TNA exit. 2 months after reports claimed MLW wasn't in the picture, Court Bauer has now confirmed that's changed because the two sides are officially talking. Appearing on Who's the Champ, the MLW founder addressed the speculation surrounding Blanchard and revealed she's been on the company's radar since becoming a free agent. She's been someone that has been in the mix since she became a free agent, and people have been wondering about her in MLW. I can confirm we are in talks with Tessa. Bauer didn't go as far as saying a deal has been reached. For now, talks are as much as he's willing to confirm, although he made it clear MLW recognizes what Blanchard could bring to the promotion. He said, "That's about all I can confirm at this point, but she's incredibly talented." That's a pretty significant change from where things stood back in June. Following Blanchard's departure from TNA, Fightful Select reported that MLW wasn't a destination being discussed and that the promotion hadn't been in contact with her for years. He said there were commenters mentioning MLW as a possibility, but we're told as of now they haven't had contact with Blanchard and haven't for years. 2 months later, that door is clearly open. Blanchard became a free agent after TNA released her roughly halfway through what was reportedly a 3-year contract. Her situation had become complicated by her work with CMLL, where she was receiving more dates, better money, and creative opportunities she preferred. She hasn't been sitting around waiting for another promotion either. New Wrestling Evolution already announced Blanchard for its NWE Legends Tour 2026 across Spain and Italy in November. They said one of the most talked about names in professional wrestling is coming to NWE. Tessa Blanchard joins the NWE Legends Tour 2026 and is ready to make an impact in front of fans across Spain and Italy. But MLW could represent something considerably bigger than another independent booking. What wasn't even in the picture when Blanchard first left TNA has now progressed to direct negotiations with the company. There's no deal yet, and Bauer isn't promising one, but Tessa Blanchard and MLW are officially talking. After being ruled out only 2 months ago, that suddenly makes the promotion one of the most interesting possibilities for her next chapter. And as I pointed out, I was kind of surprised that they signed her at TNA to begin with because of all the issues before, but somehow, and I don't understand it, I was surprised when they let her go. Jaybone?
Yeah, I get why they did, because there's a conflict of interest as far as, she's working for, so TNA has a partnership with WWE. WWE has AEW. I can understand from that point of view if CMLL, where she has been very successful in the last few years, I guess. I don't know what she's all done, but she has been a major part of that.
Hang on. You said WWE has AEW, and only guess what you meant.
AAA. Sorry.
AAA. Gotcha.
AAA. My bad. Yeah. Sorry. This is water. I swear to God, it's only water. AAA. WWE has AAA, which is, of course, rivalry to CMLL. CMLL has been very good to Tessa and doesn't recognize controversies of the past. And her, I think, boyfriend / fiance, whatever the relationship is, he works for CMLL as well. So I, as much as I wanted to see her stay in TNA and work with the younger crop of women who have been coming through there, I get why it happened. But now, AEW and MLW both have a working relationship with CMLL, as far as I know. So yeah, it doesn't shock me that MLW is back in the picture. I think MLW needs Tessa much more than AEW. So if Tessa's getting paid well from CMLL and all she has to do is come to the States for like the occasional taping for MLW, it would work in her schedule much easier than trying to go back and forth and do weekly stuff for AEW live. So honestly, it doesn't surprise me that MLW is back in the talking picture at all.
Yeah. All right. Finally, let's talk about one of the greatest factions of all time. This next story actually comes from Wrestling News on Facebook. David Shoemaker says Cody Rhodes should relaunch the Four Horsemen. Speaking on Cheap Heat with Peter Rosenberg, the author of Why Hulk Hogan Matters, made the suggestion while discussing a potential Rhodes heel turn. Isn't Cody exactly the dude who should relaunch the Four Horsemen, Shoemaker said. Cody with just some other dudes in suits, like exactly what you want to see from him as a heel. Shoemaker said the turn does not require Rhodes to turn on the audience. In his version, Rhodes is a man who dresses well, is proud of himself, and has friends who agree with him. You don't have to hate fans now. He said you're functionally a villain. Oh, you don't have to be like I hate fans now. He said you're functionally a villain. Shoemaker said WWE keeps teasing the turn. He said every major Cody feud has a moment where it looks like Rhodes is about to flip, but then they just forget about it a week later, and then they return the same bit. Rosenberg said he does not understand what WWE is hoping to get out of Rhodes as a babyface after almost 4 years on top. So I want to talk about this. Actually, this was a suggestion that Dizzy made. Dizzy suggested we have a talk about this on the show tonight, even though he was unable to make it. And I'll be honest, there's only two people out there that I would trust with relaunching the Horsemen. Cody is one of them, and Dustin is the other. Dustin's not going to go that route. That's not where his character is. That's not the direction his character is going to go.
You're talking about his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not what his gimmick is. His gimmick is not headed in that direction. And he's got a good thing going with what he's doing. So that leaves Cody. I am fully supportive of this. I think Cody should restart the Horsemen, but if we look at the current roster, who do we choose?
I think do we make it 4 guys or do we include women too? I'm up for either one. I'm not trying to be chauvinistic in this because I'm like, hey,
whatever.
I would pick Flair. I would absolutely put Flair in here.
Okay.
I would pick. This would happen post the rivalry with Oba, but I honestly think Braun Breaker, given the situation where he's a little distancing himself from the Vision, I think Braun Breaker would be an excellent addition to this faction.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I don't know. And it doesn't have it doesn't have to be someone where their dad was in WCW. It doesn't have to. You just pick someone that, maybe another younger person, next generation. I don't know. What do you think? What names pop in your head?
I like the suggestion of Charlotte. Honestly, I think Charlotte is perfect for this. The only thing that I don't know about when it comes to Braun Breaker is the suit, because I'm just not sure if I see him doing the suit. I don't know. Maybe. Otherwise, I think he's a good fit with a faction of this nature. And that leaves us with one open spot. Actually, feasibly, it could leave us with two if you think about it, because the Horsemen did usually have a manager too. So you got to take that into consideration. As far as filling that fourth spot, the only downside to casting it with, say, Charlotte Flair is you kind of eliminate the Horsemen from War Games when you do that, because WWE has that strict rule, and you're not going to put Charlotte in a War Games match with the men. But let's go with that. Let's say Cody, we got Charlotte, and we got Braun Breaker. We need one more person, someone that can pull off the suit.
Maybe someone like Finn.
Maybe. But I was thinking, and that's I'm not opposed to that. I think what you got is an idea, and I think it's a good one. But there's another guy that I think would be great for this.
Okay.
He's not on the main roster yet, though.
Oh.
He's on NXT. I need to pull up their roster real quick and grab the name I'm thinking of. Let's see. That's WWE NXT. And I think this guy would fit in with the spirit and the gimmick of the Horsemen, especially the way it was meant to be. No, Booker, put your hand down. It's not you. It'll never be him. Yeah.
Shucky ducky, shut the hell up.
Because here's the thing. They've always had this kind of country vibe to them, if you think about it, right? Yeah, the Horsemen, they have this like backcountry vibe, right?
It represents I think it represents the South. I think it represents Texas, but yeah, in a sense,
yeah.
Because it's where the South, where WCW was their home. I mean, they traveled everywhere, but there are certain states down south, from Texas to Florida, where the Horsemen that was their home. So, but yeah, continue.
This guy had a cowboy gimmick going on. He was in a tag team for a while. He's not now. And the thing is, I feel like I'm thinking of Josh Briggs, but he's got the biker thing going on. Was Josh Briggs the guy that did the cowboy hat for a while as part of his tag team? That was a question.
I'm thinking. I don't know. Gosh, I haven't seen him around for a while. He had.
Maybe it was his partner. Hang on. No, it was definitely. It had to be Josh I was thinking of.
Okay.
But because I'm looking at this picture of Brooks Jensen, and that was his tag team partner, and I'm looking at them together, and it was definitely Briggs that is who I'm thinking of. Okay. I think that because he has that country feel, I think he should be the fourth member.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's definitely the size of a guy that could be like the muscle for the group. And I feel like you kind of need that depending on who you put in there. Like I look at the classic group, and now granted there's been a lot of different members, but if you look at someone like Wyndham was kind of like that Am I? What the hell is his name? Trying to think of the original.
You said Wyndham. Hang on. I gotcha.
Was Flair, Blanchard, Anderson. Who's the tall blonde guy?
So the original lineup was Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Tully Blanchard with J.J. Dillon. Then you had the Wyndham era, where they added Barry Windham and briefly Lex Luthor. Yeah. The 90s revival was Flair, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, Chris Benoit. And the final iteration was Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko.
I think Roma was in there too, just real briefly. So yeah, there's been a few different, but yeah, I remember Barry. My first recollection of the Four Horsemen when I was watching was Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson. I don't remember Ole, but I know he was a part of it. And of course, Flair. Oh, Gary Rossetti in the chat says, one of those wrestling websites thought Carlos Silva's town hall was tonight, but it's actually Wednesday night.
That's good information.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's doing a Q&A. Beyond that, I don't know exactly. I haven't looked into it much. I haven't had a lot of time, but yeah, they're doing something. I want to say something kind of similar to what WWE is doing with their club WWE. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm not saying it's a ripoff, but it's something similar. Like they already have like package deals with the website, the pay-per-views, the content, but now this is a VIP thing. And one of the first things they're doing with this VIP thing is a town hall meeting. So guys, lockdown is going to be huge, and I feel like we should like wrap up the show talking about TNA lockdown this coming weekend. I'm not saying we have to do full predictions or anything. I'm just saying it deserves to be talked about because this is going to be a hell of a pay-per-view.
And yes, Gary, I realized Lex was before Barry, but the Google result labeled it the Wyndham era and said Luger was briefly a part of the Horsemen during what they considered the Wyndham era. That's all that was.
Okay. That's when you go back that far. And I remember sitting in my buddy's basement, and this was before high school, so I'm still pretty young at this point, and I'm watching WCW, and Luger was a part of it, and I, like you said, this guy was in there before this guy. I don't remember that. I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, but I'm just saying, I have memories of all these guys being a part of it. I got memories of, was it Nikolai Volkov? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? The tall Russian that was like friends with Dusty or became friends with Dusty. Is that who I'm thinking of? Or am I thinking of someone else? But yeah, I have so many great memories of sitting in my best friend's basement and watching wrestling on Saturday mornings, man.
I think that you're actually thinking of Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff, thank you.
Because Nikolai Volkov was kind of a shorter guy.
Okay, so that was like his father or whatever.
I don't think they were related.
No, I mean character-wise.
I don't think there was any relation between Nikolai Volkov and Nikita Koloff. I think they were just two Russian characters.
Okay, because I thought one was a father, one was a son, but I was little, and that's just how I visualized it. So, but
look, just so everybody knows, my back's been bothering me since last week. So we're going to go ahead and have Jaybone talk about lockdown real quick.
Okay. And
then we're going to wrap up the show.
That's fine. But for anybody watching this, put it in the chat. Who would you like to see in a modern day era of the Four Horsemen? And hey, there's no wrong answers, unless you're going to say, Danhausen or some shit like that.
Danhausen.
The Four Housens.
Actually, I'm going Danhausen, Joe Hendry,
Oh gosh.
Jacob Fatu, and Nick Aldis, with Adam Pearce as the manager.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, that'd be comedy gold. All right. Danhausen's. Where's my horse? All right. So TNA's lockdown is this weekend, and if you look at the tickets that are for sale, man, they've added a lot of tickets to this. You know where this is going to be at. I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be an amazing crowd. It's with the walk-ups, they're going to call it a sellout, folks. I'll bet you they're going to call it a sellout. So yeah, I'm sure this stuff that's all leading up to this weekend, I think we're going to have some surprises. I'm not going to sit here and try to guess who's going to come in, but this show in Chicago is going to be huge. I wish I could be there. But yeah, so yeah, also in the chat, let me know what you guys are most excited for this weekend as far as all the events revolving around lockdown. Also, if you're in my neck of the woods, which is, southeastern Wisconsin-ish area, or even Chicago, there's 2 Hardy parties happening. If you did know, there's one in Chicago, and I want to say that's Saturday night, but the night before, local wrestling promoter around here, David Hero, is bringing the Hardy Party to Milwaukee downtown at a place called Casablanca, and he's going to have a Hardy Party there. And I think I read that it's going to be hosted by Mustafa Ali. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome. And there's also a big update, and we'll talk more about this on Thursday as we get more information, but I'm just seeing this now. Bound for Glory, and I know there were fans that were like, when is this going to get, the tickets going on sale for this? Bound for Glory is going to be Sunday, October 11th, Tampa, Florida, at the Yuengling Center, pre-sale, Wednesday, August 19th. Tickets on sale Thursday, August 20th. So holy crap, that's tomorrow. That's crazy.
Wait. Read those dates again. It sounded like you said that it was taking place on August 19th.
No.
Tickets are on sale on August 20th.
No, Sunday. The event is Sunday, October 11th in Tampa, okay, Florida. Pre-sale Wednesday, August 19th. Tickets on sale Thursday, August 20th.
Gotcha. I'm caught up now.
And there's an article on TNAWrestling.com for more details. So, yeah, and then there's also talks about 2 events live in Alabama following Bound for Glory that will be on sale as well. So yeah, there you go. The end of the year is coming up quick, and it's getting exciting, folks. I think there's going to be some surprises this weekend, and I'm not going to sit here and try to speculate. It's free agency season. That's what I've been calling it, man. It's a lot of free agents out there, and I'm sure some of them are going to land here, there, wherever. So, but yeah, for the sake of Max, I know he's not feeling great. Let's wrap the show up. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. 2
quick things before I go into wrap-up mode. First off, I knew it wasn't Nikolai Volkov. It was Ivan that was related to Nikita. In the storyline, he was Nikita's uncle. Thank you, Gary, for putting that in there.
There you go.
I want to make a quick note about next week's Raw. For those of you that didn't catch it, And for those like Dizzy who keep forgetting when this happens, Raw will be emanating from Ottawa, and it has a special start time.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. It's starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 o'clock Central for people like Grandpa and Dizzy and Baron. 4 o'clock in the only time zone that matters, mine, and 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Jaybone, are we still doing that sticker giveaway over on Instagram?
Yeah. If people like stickers, if people are new here and you want to help support the show, you can go to the link in the description. Because we're trying to grow all our socials, and eventually we'd like to go live on Instagram too as well. But yeah, if you are interested in getting, now I've misplaced it. I had it here. No, that's not it. Is this it? This is it. There we go. My desk is a mess. It's chaos here, but there, if you're interested in helping support one of your favorite podcasts, Ramblers Unleashed, and you'd like a sticker from us, the guys that host it, you can go. Number one, sub here on YouTube. Number two, follow us on Instagram and send us proof. Message us on Instagram saying, hey, I follow you guys here, and I'm also subbed on YouTube. Here's a picture of it, and I would like a sticker from you guys, and we will send you a sticker. So, but yeah, we're just trying to help grow the show as much as possible on the socials, here, there, everywhere. So yeah, if you're interested in getting stuff from the show, hit us up. Give us a follow, give us a sub, and thank you in advance.
All right, that's going to do it for Ramblers Unleashed tonight. Until next time, Grandpa, how can they find you?
You can find me on the old Twitter box at Jaybone5150. That's Jaybone 5150. You can also catch me every Thursday for all things TNA over on Total Nonstop Impact. Yeah. Where I do the live reaction, and then the crew gets together following the live reaction for TNA on AMC, and we do the review and catch up on news and all things TNA Thursday nights.
You can follow me at Max Magius. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter anymore, but you can do that. You can join us on Discord. We do have a Discord if you want to have conversations with us. I'm a little more active than the rest of the guys, but feel free to come in, and we all pop in from time to time. That's down below in the description. Rob Ryzin's In-Demand Indie book, that is still listed down there. It's a great read. If you haven't read it yet, check it out. You can follow...
There's also a merch page.
Oh, and there is a merch page. Yes. So if you want to buy your own stickers, I'm pretty sure Jaybone has that up on the merch page too. So
yes, through Spreadshirt. Yeah, Spreadshirt. And there is a new Ramblers Unleashed logo on there, just added this week with the giant green X on it, kind of a tribute to the Attitude Era DX. So yeah. Go check that out.
You can follow the podcast at the Ramblers Pod. Baron is working on fixing his social media. We don't know what happened. He doesn't either. He's working on getting that fixed. We'll get him back into the list at that time. Find us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed, Instagram, all of our socials are basically down below. If you enjoyed tonight's show, hit the like button. If you aren't already subscribed, consider subscribing, and maybe even hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live. Now get out there, watch some wrestling.
There we go. Thanks, folks. Take care. We'll see you next week.